All right, peace, family. It's your boy Devon. You know what I'm saying? I'm here, back again with the tribe today. I kind of just wanted to bring you guys into like my study sessions. Anybody that knows me knows I like to read books. Know I like to study esoteric knowledge. I like to study sacred texts. I like to study metaphysics and occult shit. Now, why I like to study it is because it gives me a better understanding of the world around me, you know what I'm saying, also myself and the different components of myself. So, mind, body, spirit, and how it all, the mechanics behind it, and pretty much how to use your vehicle the best way possible. So, that's why I study, you know, um, and that's why I do what I do. So, lately, the most recent books I've been studying, well, some of the most recent books I've been studying is, hold on, let me get something to sit on real quick. Oh, yes, that's way better. It's way better. Okay, so a couple of the books I've been studying has been this one. It's called Emerald Tablets, and it is by Billy Carson. And also, we have this book right here, which is the ISIS Thesis, a decoding of 870 ancient Egyptian signs. And this is by Judy J. King. Okay. So I really appreciate these books because um I believe that if if you go somewhere, right, to a gathering, or if you indulge in books or any kind of videos or audios, and you find yourself just sitting there agreeing and saying yes, and you know um there's nothing that's stimulating your intellect or stimulating your ability to research or do study on your own, so you could come to your own conscious conclusion and conscious decisions. um the thing about it is you're never actually learning something new when you're finding yourself just agreeing to some everything that someone's saying, and it's not stimulating you to think differently or anything like that. um you're pretty much just learning the same shit over again. So me, I appreciate ISIS Thesis because it decodes 870 ancient signs, and it lines it up with um, the current, you know, how can I say, researches, the current breakthroughs that science is having nowadays in like the 21st century. Different journeys, different experiments that NASA is having or partaking in, things of that nature. What they're actually doing is they're going back to these different sacred texts, and they're going to the different astronomical, they're going to the different anomalies that's present on our planet, on Mars, on other planets, and things like that. And they're going to these different anomalies and spiritual locations, and they're studying it. They're researching these different sacred texts and going to the different, heavens that's spoken about, the different deities and things like that. Um, Now they're able to be realized. You know what I'm saying? Um, for example, way back in the day, before there was even NASA or satellites or anything like that, the pharaohs and the ancients already understood the dynamics of the cosmos. They already understood the dynamics of energy. They understood, um, you know, the mental principle or the universal principle that everything is mental, and as above, so below, as within, so without. So way back before there was even satellites or anything like that. They like from our current generation, because there was advanced technology back then, and there's a lot of different proof that shows there's advanced technology back then. Um, but oh, I lost my thought just now. Okay. All right, so that was my thought. I was lining up um the principles. Everything is mental as within, so without. So they had this understanding way before um there was any kind of like proof per se. You know, they came in with this ancient wisdom. There's insight that says that the Netarus, the gods, these divine beings that ascended or descended from heaven to here, also came with the intellect and the knowledge of these different things, and they helped us out. And you know, they gave us those insights. So you know, to speed up time and be here now and to be confirming, you know, everything that was said back then, everything that was experienced back then, it lets you know that there was onto something, that we was onto something. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, that's us reincarnated now. You know, remembering, you know, ourselves and you know the fullness of who we are. Um, so I think that's cool. So this book goes into a lot of that. You know, which I appreciated. Remember, I was telling you if um, you're partaking in something and you already know everything that's about to be said next, if you already know, um, if you already have the information stored within you, if you already know the content, and when you go there, it's just regurgitation, you're not necessarily expanding, you know. So, this book right here, the ISIS Thesis, um, cracking this show open right now. I'm just gonna go over like a few keynotes, you know, also the table of context, just to let you know like what they're talking about. So the first couple chapters talking about what is above, what is below. It's talking about it's a heavy study on space physics, quantum physics, molecular biology, supermolecular chemistry, and bacterial genetics. Now, I never got to study any of that shit, you know, to the depths of how this book is breaking a bitch down. But it's correlating a lot of the sacred texts, you know, from back in the day to all these different branches of studies, and they have proof of everything that was spoken about. So for example, there's like different energy particles that exist within our atmosphere, and you know, they move around, certain reactions happen, and we see the phenomena with our physical eyes, but also on a deeper level, on a quantum level, on an atomic level, on an energetic level. um, there's actually reactions, and there's actually effect, cause and effects, right? And these different cause and effects has everything to do with us in our spiritual journey. It breaks down how life is eternal, and it breaks down reincarnation process, and it also talks about how during the reincarnation process we're actually moving as like cells and atoms and energy particles, right? And these different cells and energy particles, we actually see them physically when we look out into the universe and we see different phenomena. For example, the northern lights, like the northern lights is actually souls transitioning through the weakest point of the magnetic sphere to get through the cusp in order to get into the duat. The duat is pretty much space. You feel me? The ethers, not the ethers, but space. Ether is less tangible than space, but space, and you know, the whole darkness of the universe when we look out into it, that's called a duat, right? So the souls travel through the magnetosphere to get to the duat and merge with the sun. And when they merge with the sun, which they call Ra, and Ra's ferry boat, then you go on this journey throughout the whole cosmos. And then you go through you go through magnetic reconnection. You know, on the exterior level, and on an interior level, that turns into um, cellular transfers of like proteins and um, different genes that cause a transformation in your DNA. You feel me? So that's what I was talking about, how as above, so below, as within, as without. Like all these different things that's happening on a physical level actually correlates with different things that's happening on a quantum atomic level. So I thought that was pretty dope. Just to see, that when we see these beautiful auras and things of that nature, those are actually different souls and different energies, different souls and different entities in the form of energy particles, that we're able to witness with the eye. Um, so that's dope. Like that type of shit, I never knew that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's talking about that. Like, but science is proving it. You know what I mean? Like, and the ancients already spoke about it back in the day and put us onto game. So, um, that's really really cool. Uh, and they're saying that uh, this is what this is what the royal families in the ancient times and the pharaohs studied all the time. Like this knowledge was preserved for the high class. You know what I'm saying? Like the workers and shit like that wasn't able to get to this. Like using the field, working all day, grinding. You know what I mean? Building up. The society. You wasn't able to get to this type of shit. So shout out to the pharaohs. You know what I mean? That dedicated themselves to this path, this journey, and of enlightenment. And putting us on the game about what's going on. I bet. So you remember when I was talking about the duat? So this is the duat, and like this whole shit right here is considered the duat, right? This is Earth right here in the center, right? That's the the magnetosphere. This is the magnetos pause, aka the duat. Okay. The sun is gonna be like over here towards this side, and there's always a communication between the sun and the earth and the whole energetic system, atomic or even physical system of the earth as well. Right. So when I talk about going through the cusp at the weakest point of the earth's magnetosphere, I'm talking about this center point right here. This is where all the souls travel out and reach into the cosmos, and they connect with the sun and they ride these waves, these iron waves, right? Because even in the sacred text, they talk about the iron waves that extend into the heavens. So we ride these iron waves, and like I said, the magnetic reconnection happens, cellular uh, uh, reassembly happens, and things of that nature. This whole atmosphere is rich with the building blocks of life. So carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, shit like that. Everything is in there. So it's like when we get up into these atmosphere as cells, as energy, it's like plug and play. Things naturally happen, right? And then at different points of the cosmos, there's different deities as well that that the ancients spoke about. But these different deities, it's not actual like people sitting there. It's like they like pretty much like uh just deified like the characteristics of like particles or the characteristics of like energy. So let's say if there's like a swirl energy swirl going on somewhere in the duat, aka, the cosmos. They'll be like, okay, well, that's let's make up a name. That's Nefnut, right? That's Nefnut, and Nefnut governs uh, cosmic storms, right? And then like it talks about the synchronicity between the cosmic storm above and then the cosmic storm within. So you have like something that's happening within you, within yourselves, that look just like a cosmic storm and react just like a cosmic storm. So then they'll give you that correlation to how, you know whatever that deity I just created name was, like Tefiti or whatever. They'll give you a correlation between how that energy exists externally and internally within you, and how you pretty much can empower yourself by empowering that energy or acknowledging that energy, right? So remember how I was saying how the ancients already knew about certain quantum physics, mechanics, and science, and uh, relativity of energy, and even just how the cosmos look without satellites. This is hieroglyphs. This is hieroglyphs of what I just showed you, of the magnetosphere and the duat. Okay, Earth would be right here, right? These would be the lines that extended out in this last picture. You see the lines that extend out from this picture? It's the same lines. They're showing you the same lines in the magnetosphere. Same shit. And then they put different deities and images there to show you the different principles of operation that's happening. Right? To show you the different principles, different movements, different operations that's happening within this field. So that was definitely mind blowing for me. And that's only on the 16th page, right? That's only on the 16th page. Right about now, your boy is on page 167. I'm on page 167 when they talking about the serpent. The serpent. Remember we always be hearing stories about the serpent, this, down the third. You know how the serpent is bad. You see the serpent, right? There's a serpent on the bottom right here. He's riding on a serpent. This is a serpent right here holding 2 crowns on the head. Okay, and then there's different serpents. And these different serpents, some of them was called Seth, some of them was referred to as Heru. But the different serpents also represented bacteria genes and protein genes, right? And the what the serpent was a symbolic way for them to show you that there's some type of transfer of energy or movement of data, or transformation that's happening through movement. And then the different serpents predicated upon their head and how many heads they had and things of that nature. They was just talking about the different genes, because when you look at the genes actually have like different heads too. Like certain genes and proteins have 3 heads connected to its central nucleus, or like 5 heads connected to its central nucleus. And so when you consider that, you're like, oh shit, like, nigga, that was powerful. Like, you know what I mean? They really like just using symbolism to talk about different energy particles and atomic particles, and cellular movements within us. And that shit is dope. That shit is dope. If you don't think that's amazing, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's up with you. But me, I think that shit is so amazing. I think it's beautiful, you know what I mean, to look out into the world and have a full understanding of what you're seeing, and see how it's being reflected in you as well, and just that connection. It definitely brings a more sense of appreciation and gratitude, and a more sense of like, there's more going on than just the day to day, the mundane shit, the regular shit. So um my goal is to just open up more of these book sessions with you guys, and just share more of this information, because it definitely brings me a joy. And you know I know there's people that it brings them a joy too. you know it brings them a joy too. So this book is dope as well, because it gets into, so remember we was talking about how different beings ascended from the heavens, and came down to earth and pretty much populated earth, genetically, and also um, with an inheritance of knowledge and culture, and those kind of things, and even a genetic heritage. So this book dives more right here. You see the flower of life pattern. That's also the atomic structure of gold as well. That's what the atomic structure of gold looks like. But the flower, the this pattern right here is called Metatron's cube. But the flower of life, and the seed of life, and a lot of different things fruit out of this pattern. If you get a chance, look this pattern up. I could go on for days about this, but it's called Metatron's cube. It's also known as sacred geometry. And this pattern starts from one circle and expands into two, then three, then four, then five, then six. Just like when we're in the womb, and our cells, our embryo starts to develop and things of that nature. It starts from an egg, and then it turns in to two, and then three or four, five, six, and then it forms a first shape, and that first shape is the seed of life. And then I think that's when your spine start to come in, and this pattern is at the base of your spine. You feel me? And all of your organs and things of that nature form from this pattern. Dig me? So remember, I was telling you, as above, so below, as within, so without. So everything that happens on the physical has a correlation energetically, mathematically, um, and all that shit. So I think that's dope. But yeah, this book gets into the first part of this book is talking about um, validating the study of extraterrestrial life, right? So it's talking about the documenting of the study of of extraterrestrial life over time, and it talks about the Catholic influence, on alien presence, and how they didn't want it to be something that we were aware of way back in the day, as a form of control. Um, there was there was someone by the name of he his last name is Galileo, but I'm trying to find his full name. Alright, so there's a Roman Inquisition that jailed Galileo in 1633 for challenging the view of the Earth was the center of the universe. The Church is preparing to celebrate his life and scientific discoveries in the Church in the 21st centuries, that has taken a more modern and academic approach regarding Galileo's findings, as well as supporting the belief that there is life beyond planet Earth. The scientific revolution became an inescapable force irreproachable even by the powers of the church, right? So this nigga was locked up back in the day for his scientific studies, right? Because the church didn't want too much information to get